Taking orders for something that customers are ready to buy at a price they're willing to pay can usually be done by salespeople with average or even limited ability. However, the highest rewards, both financially and personally satisfying, are achieved by people who are able to create new business by successfully making cold calls. But if you feel uneasy when you make an introductory call on a new prospect, if you prefer to call on customers you're familiar with, if you feel cold calls are unproductive, or if you find it difficult to gain the attention of prospects who are preoccupied with other important matters, then you are about to observe and learn about techniques that will provide you with effective strategies for dealing with all of these things. These are proven techniques that will enable you to perform at your best whenever you introduce yourself to a new prospect. First, you will be introduced to the cold call selling cycle, and then this cycle will be illustrated by two reality-based sales call situations. But before we look at the cold call selling cycle, let's look at what the phrase cold call means and does not mean. In the jargon of the sales professional, a cold call is an unrequested approach to a stranger who is the proper buying authority. A cold call does not mean making a call cold, that is, unprepared and on the spur of the moment. Therefore, the first phase of the cold call selling cycle is preparation. This consists of obtaining some advance information, gathering together any materials you want to leave with the prospect, and identifying a purpose that contains at least one benefit for the prospect. The second phase, introduction, consists of introducing yourself and your business organization and stating the purpose of your visit, which again should contain at least one benefit for the prospect. During phase 3, you determine some of the prospect's wants and needs. This is done by asking questions, preferably open-ended, and listening really closely. Once you've learned what some of the wants and needs are, you're ready to move on to phase 4, reviewing your program to determine what you can offer your prospect. Initially, this may be a service or an intangible, but ultimately, future calls must result in the prospects buying merchandise at levels that correspond to those that are determined as feasible. Having decided what you can offer, the next step is to communicate your plan, both to the dealer and to those within your organization that have a need to know. The latter group should be communicated to before you present your plan to the dealer. Now you're ready to get the order, phase 6. But getting the order consists of two things. You're getting a commitment from the prospect, and you're making a commitment to the prospect. Having gotten the order, you're not done. In fact, you're just beginning. Getting the order means that you have to follow up and follow through with the commitments you and the prospect, now a customer, have made to each other. This is phase 7. This phase, follow up and follow through, leads quite naturally into a resumption of the cycle. But now at phase 3, determining further wants and needs the customer has. Continuing the cycle in this manner will result in each of your calls having a purpose beneficial to the customer, and in the customer eventually buying merchandise at levels that correspond to those that have been determined as feasible. To illustrate the process that's been discussed, we will follow a dealer salesman, Glenn Wallace, through each of the phases. We'll join Glenn as he prepares to make his first call on Carrie Bass, the owner-operator of an automotive repair and tire business. This is a dealer that is not in his immediate store area, but a dealer that he's needed to call on for quite some time.
This day is not starting as I planned, but I've told myself that I'm going to call on this garage at 9 this morning, and I'm going to do just that. I've never met the owner, but I called and found out that his name is Carrie Bass, and that he alone makes all the buying decisions. I've checked around and found out that he has a reputation for having well-trained mechanics and for paying his bills. Since the service bay has 5 bays, he's probably got at least 5 servicemen. And since each of the few times I've passed by there, it's been real busy. He's probably doing, $35,000 to $40,000 a month. Let's see, all of these are good reasons as far as I'm concerned for making this call. Let's see, I've also noticed that the signs over his bays indicate that he does service work of any kind. Putting this together with his reputation for doing quality work tells me that he's a good candidate for TechNet. So, I'm going to go into that garage, introduce myself, and be prepared to talk to him about how he can benefit from TechNet and how Carquest support for the ASE program can save him or his mechanics some money. This means that I'll need a dealer folder, a copy of TechNet questions and answers, a copy of the ASE support statement and refund form, and my business cards. Also, I'll take my dealer benefits binder, extra copies of the benefit statements, and a TechNet call form and agreement along with me, and keep them in the car just in case I get the opportunity to use them. I'll keep a credit app handy also. Okay, I've got my materials. I'm ready to go. Looks like they're busy as usual. I'll pull in over here where I won't interfere with any of their parking and possibly get into the way of their customers. Not only does he have 5 bays, but they're double bays with 8 vehicles in them. Now I'm certain he's got at least 5 servicemen. Here's something else. There's an empty Napa filter box. Probably means he's buying a lot of filters from Napa, and with his volume, he's likely getting the Napa Master Installer program. Now, that gives me an idea of the kind of pricing I'm up against when I go to sell him filters. Since I don't know what Mr. Bass looks like, I'd better ask someone to point him out. Mr. Bass, I'm Glenn Wallace with Carquest.
How you doing? How you doing? You can call me Kerry.
Okay, Kerry. Appreciate that. I passed by here several times, and I want to make a point to stop by and get acquainted with you. I sure noticed you have a nice operation here.
I appreciate the compliment, but I'm pretty busy out there. I don't have a whole lot of time.
I understand that, and I'm sure not going to take much of your time. Here's my card, Kerry, and the reason I'm calling on you today is to see if you have a need for something that our customers say makes more turns in their bays and therefore increases your sales.
Well,
as I was walking in, I noticed the mechanic over there was having problems with that 87 Pontiac.
man, you're not kidding. We've been working on that thing for nearly 2 hours.
That happens often.
We called 2 dealers, found out it's another sensor on the fuel injection, wasted a whole lot of time.
Now, I understand.
Couldn't find anybody that knew anything about that thing, and I've got ASE qualified mechanics out there. They didn't even know.
Kerry, does your shop ever use these 1-800 numbers? I know a lot of these 1-800 numbers are connected directly to the manufacturers.
Yeah, we've used them before. It's kind of like 1-800, but they're always busy. The guy's always gone to lunch. They're open from 9 to 3, and that's some other Mountain Central or something like that. It's not my time. And when I call them, it's busy. I just can't ever get through to them.
Let me see if I understand. What I'm hearing you say is you'd like to have some help with some of these hard-to-fix problems on these late model cars.
Well, sure, I think any shop would. I mean, look at all the textbooks I have out there. I send these guys to ASE training all the time.
Yeah, that doesn't cover it, does it?
Sure doesn't. We ran across a darn Cadillac the other day, couldn't do anything with it.
That happens often.
Let's freeze it right there. On a cold call, Glenn knows that he can't expect a whole lot, but he still made the effort to come into Mr. Bass's business. You've seen that as Glenn came in, through careful observation, he found out what the business is like, who Mr. Bass is buying from, and probably at what price. You've seen all the preparations he made before coming in to introduce himself and Carquest. And then, as he introduced himself, Glenn provided a benefit for Mr. Bass to want to continue to talk to him, and went on to immediately find out a need. Having determined a need, Glenn will want to now offer some help in order to keep holding Mr. Bass's attention.
Kerry, you mentioned you had a problem with a Cadillac, and all those 1-800 numbers were busy. Have you ever heard of a program called Carquest TechNet?
Yeah, sure, I've heard of some of these programs, like you call a 1-800 number, but most of the time you can't even get through.
Kerry, that seems to happen everywhere. We have a program we started about 1.5 or 2 years ago. It's called Carquest TechNet. We put a portable phone right in your shop, Kerry. Now this portable phone can be used by your mechanic. He can dial the 1-800 number direct to the technician right from the car. Very rarely is he going to get a busy signal because we have enough technicians on hand to take care of all the incoming calls. This guy, this technician, is sitting in front of a computer terminal. He's not just a key punch operator. He is a technician. When your mechanic comes in, he can relate to your mechanic and operate that computer and find out what the problem is. Like I said before, our customers tell us it increases the number of turns in their bays, increases sales to you, which means the bottom line is more money to you, Kerry. It's a fantastic program, and I think you ought to try it.
Well, we might try it. We might look at something like that, but I don't know if I can get my mechanics to use it.
Let me say this. Kerry, the program runs from the 16th of one month to the 15th of the following month. So basically, if you sign up on the 16th, you're not charged for until the following month. So basically, that's your free month. It's real easy to hook up your phones. I can come in and slip our system right into your phone system. I've done it many times.
Yeah, well.
Kerry, I have something here I want you to see on TechNet.
Can I just look this material over?
That's fine. On top of this, though, I want you to see a 5-minute video that we have. I'd like to come down here and show it to your mechanics and you, and that way we can go over the material. But I'd like to say, get away. How about, what if we get away for lunch?
Well, I can usually make time for lunch, but after everyone else eats.
I could come by tomorrow or the next day and pick you up, say, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Good. Well, here's what I'll do. Kerry, let me write this down. Say Wednesday?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Good. About 1 o'clock. I'll pick you up. By the way, earlier you said that all of your guys are ASE certified. One of the benefits that we offer can save you or them some money. We offer a $10 rebate for anybody that passes the test. Carquest backs this ASE program, and we want to see more certified mechanics out here. By the way, I'll put some more material in the folder for you on that. Also, we have some clinics your mechanics can attend, but I'll tell you more about that later.
That sounds good.
Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll call you Tuesday to make sure we're still a go at Wednesday at 1 o'clock for lunch. Then we can talk about putting that phone in on the 15th.
Good. All right.
If you have any questions about this folder, feel free to call me anytime, or next Wednesday ask me any questions you have about it.
Good. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Kerry. Thank you, sir.
Ah.
We'll see you later.
Nice seeing you.
Now let's summarize what Glenn has done since he determined Mr. Bass's needs. First, Glenn decided to offer the Carquest TechNet program. Since there wasn't a need to communicate his dealer plan to anyone else in the company, he immediately presented the plan to Mr. Bass and gained a commitment from him to at least take a look at the TechNet program and to meet to discuss it further. He then went on to establish follow-up procedures by telling Mr. Bass that he would telephone him on Tuesday. Glenn's now ready to re-enter the selling cycle at Phase 3. It's important for you to remember that most of the time you can't unload on a prospect everything that you have to offer, your delivery service, the availability of your parts, and so on. Presenting all that you have to offer is a time-consuming thing, and these are things that you can go back to the prospect to talk about later. So on a cold call, what you try to do is at least introduce yourself, get the Carquest name out in front of the prospect, determine some needs, and then let him know at least one thing that you can do for him, not to him, in order to get a commitment for another call or meeting, in order for you to eventually get the order. In the previous segment of this video, we saw Glenn making a cold sales call on Kerry Bass. You may recall that at the conclusion of the call, Carrie had agreed to a TechNet demonstration and to have lunch with Glenn. Glenn held that meeting and took Carrie to lunch. While at lunch, Glenn took the opportunity to find out a little more about Carrie's business goals. Glenn found out 3 things. 1, he wants and expects high levels of service from his parts supplier. 2, he wants to install only quality parts at a price that's fair to his customers. And 3, he wants qualified mechanics that produce a good reputation for his business. We'll be joining Glenn as he makes his 3rd sales call on Carrie. So that you can participate in the discussion which follows the conclusion of this videotape, take note of the following. First, the things that Glenn has done in preparing for his call. Second, which of the 5 components of the sales call Glenn uses on this call. Third, the way that he effectively uses each of the steps of making a sales presentation. Fourth, how he uses the plus technique in handling Carrie's objections. And 5th, the method used in gaining a commitment from Carrie. We'll now join up with Glenn.
Hi, Carrie. How you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Fine, Carrie. The reason I dropped by today, I wanted to take a few minutes, if you have the time, to show you a couple of Carquest programs that can really benefit your business. Have you got the time?
Well, I'm pretty stacked up right now, but if you make it quick, I think I can squeeze you in.
Hey, that's great. Carrie, the other day you mentioned some of your business concerns. So I went back and did some homework on what Carquest can help you with.
I've got a lot of concerns. I'll guarantee you that. One in that bay, one in that bay, one in that bay.
Yeah, I can understand that. But one of the things you told me the other day, that you wanted to keep having the best shop in town with real qualified mechanics just begging to work for you.
That's what it takes to gain and keep a good reputation.
Well, I checked into several programs Carquest has. First, we have a list of clinics you and your people can go to and learn about repairing things from air conditioning, fuel injection, to CV joint replacement. These clinics are held throughout the year at our facilities, and most of all, they're free of charge. Carrie, I've put a list of the clinics together in this folder that I want to leave with you. I've also highlighted the ones that will be coming up in the near future in your area.
Thanks, Glenn. I sure appreciate it.
Carrie, I know that it's difficult sometimes for you and your mechanics to get away from the shop to attend these clinics. So in addition to these clinics, we also have a huge library of videos that you can borrow and view at your convenience at your location. Carrie, I've also put a list of available videotapes from our library in this folder for you.
Thanks again.
Carrie, I know you realize that you and your mechanics can make more money by increasing the number of turns on repairs in your bay.
Yeah, so?
Well, by taking advantage of the clinics, the videotape library, and the TechNet program that I've been telling you about, you can't help but increase the turns in your bays. So why don't we take advantage of the free month of the TechNet program and get you signed up today. I can come by on the 14th or the 15th and teach your people how to properly use the phone.
Okay, I'll do it.
You won't regret it, I promise you. But before we do, I want to let you know that I listened when you told me that you wanted a source of quality parts at a competitive price and a substantial warranty. I want you to take a look at this Carquest coast-to-coast warranty program. This program enables you or your mechanics to install quality parts on a vehicle, and that you can tell your customer if this part fails anywhere in the U.S., they're protected.
That sounds well and good. I already guarantee my work, and it'd be great to be able to guarantee the parts too. But Glenn, I've got to watch the cost of parts too.
Carrie, I understand that price has to be a concern of yours. All of our customers feel the same way. But Carrie, Carquest is a group of over 2,300 stores nationwide with sales of over $700 million. Therefore, we can offer you the most competitive prices going. Furthermore, with the volume potential you have, our being price competitive is just not going to be any problem. Another thing, our parts are quality, most of them being made in the good old USA. How does that sound?
Sounds like a winner.
Carrie, the other day you mentioned that if I could help in the areas that I have covered, that you would consider putting in our filter line. Have I helped?
Yep, you sure give me something to think about.
Good. Would tomorrow or the next day be convenient for me to come down and install our filter line?
The next day would be better, but we still got to talk about price. And also, I got some Napa filters out there that are just gathering dust.
I can understand how that'd be a problem, but that's one I can solve. I can show you a list of top movers for filters in your market, and like I said, coupling our buying power with your volume, I'm sure price will not be an issue. Let's go into your office and discuss the details.
Okay, but let me take care of a couple of things first.
Hey, that's great. While you're doing that, I'm going to go out to the car and get my binder that contains my pricing information and the list of the top-selling filter numbers.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
In the 2 segments of this video, we have followed Glenn first as he proceeded through each of the phases of the cold call selling cycle, and then as he continued the cycle until he succeeded in getting the order. That is, until he obtained a commitment from Carrie to try the TechNet program and to purchase the Carquest filter line as well. We saw that Glenn's success was due in a large measure to his being prepared and to his persistence. The latter is a fact that should not be overlooked. Being persistent pays off. Studies on selling have shown that 80% of the time it took at least 5 calls to get an order, but only 10% of the salesmen studied made 5 or more calls. Therefore, being persistent, following the selling cycle presented, and putting into practice the skills shown in this video will help you sell more, earn more, and strengthen your own future by strengthening the competitive position of your company.